version of backup for Stoney point, I'm doing rolling down the neck backup using mostly just the forward roll pattern and a couple licks thrown in. But I want to show you how to get started with that, because I'm primarily using that roll just to create a texture and create rhythm behind someone that's going to be playing, you know, if it's a fiddle player or if it's the band playing. I just want to have that roll in place, and it sounds a little bit more authentic to me to have that roll than to do a forward backwards roll over and over again. Like you could totally do that, and that's fine to start out, but what I want you to start practicing is the forward roll over the bar line, if you will. And if I had a metronome here, I could more easily demonstrate that, but I don't actually have a metronome because we're packing lightly in our trip to Australia, and I didn't bring one to Sydney. So what we're going to do is just try to feel it first by simplifying the roll that I'm doing, and then taking that away. So that's one measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You hear that? So you can feel that where it ends, and then you just repeat that again. 3, 4. And then the second measure, you put in the D to G chord. But what we're trying to do here, 4, 1, is just have our E minor chord kind of last through that measure line. So you're not ending at beat 4 and restarting at beat 1. You're just letting the forward roll kind of pass on by through that measure, if that makes sense. 4, 1, 2, 3, and then that, I'll show you that D lick and that G lick so you can just put that in there. That D lick is 4th string open, index playing the 2nd string, and my index is also, my left hand is playing the 2nd fret 3rd string. So the roll pattern is 4 notes, that's it. I'm putting my ring finger down on that 4th fret 4th string, and then playing that like that. So the bulk of this is that E minor. So you can play it like that and then repeat, but what I want you to do is play over the bar line. So let's just do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure. You hear that? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jump in with me. 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. If you were listening there, I switched up for the second time through. I switched it up so the roll pattern was a little bit different, and that was just to demonstrate that, like, no matter what, as long as you feel this, as long as you can feel it over the measure, you can do whatever you want, and this kind of frees you up, so you don't have to play a specific arrangement of a song. You can just roll, you know, and you can just feel it, and that's where we want to get to. We want to get to the point where we don't have to rely on a tablature arrangement. But we don't want to rely on counting and playing either. We want to feel it. We want to feel where the measure starts and where the measure ends. And a great way to do that is to first simplify it and make sure you're playing a full one measure phrase, and then just repeat it using that forward roll pattern, kind of what we talked about at the beginning, and then take away that like 5th string pinch that we did. And the roll pattern doesn't really matter. I'm using a forward roll, 4th string, to start out, and then second string, first string, and then I'm continuing the roll pattern going fifth string, second string, first. So it's like that. This is something that might take a little work, so I encourage you to get the metronome out, stick with it, practice playing over the bar line. The best way to practice this is to have a metronome where you can actually like accent the first beat of the measure. So it's like click, 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 click. So you can have that accent, you know where that measure is. That will give you a reference point. The B section is the same. You can do the same principle. So I'm doing forward roll. See that? So first I'll teach you the A to D. So I'm just doing a forward backwards roll here. A. That's just 3, 2, 1, 5. And then I'm switching to a D chord right here with my index on the second fret, third string. Ring finger here on the 4th fret, 4th string. So then it's just 1, 3, 4, 1. So you can just slot that in there when the A and D chord happens. But let's simplify it. So we got G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You hear that? So I'm ending the phrase with a 5th string pinch. 1, 2, 3, 5th string pinch. So now what we want to do is take that out and just continue the roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Licks. One more time. 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's practice it together. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So I've taught this to a lot of students, and some get it really easily, some don't, and it's okay if you're not getting it 100% right now. I would just encourage you to practice that first one, the simplified version of this with the pinch at the end, and then practice that with the metronome so you can have a sense of where that one is happening. And then just practice doing it with the metronome on that accented one. And you can also think about it like this. If you're starting the roll here, 2, 3, 4, you're starting the next measure. If you're continuing that roll pattern, you're doing that roll pattern, that exact one that I'm doing, you're starting the next measure on your index finger on the 3rd string. So it's starting with the 4th string first, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you're starting the next measure. Each measure you're starting with the next finger in your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the extended lesson for backup for Stoney Point. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section below. Remember, I do have a student membership available, which is $10 a month, and you can get that at my website. The link is below this video. And the tab is available for this. If you'd like to learn it, if you'd like a visual reference, you can buy that at my website for $5. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon for another lesson.